So, thought I'd take a couple of minutes and talk about a friend of mine. They got screwed $3,000 for a car he had already sold, and that it's actually not my friend that got screwed, but rather the my friend is the guy who had purchased the car. The guy he bought the car from is the guy that got screwed. Now, long story made short, he had purchased this car off of Craigslist like 300 bucks. It was a 91 Mazda Protege. Certainly not the world's greatest car, but it got from point A to point B. It did run. The guy didn't have the title for it. It's where he just misplaced it. He'd find it. I saw the correspondence between and it was a soldier of mine that had bought the car. Well, that soldier went to PCS, and after fighting back and forth, the guy never produced the title, so he never registered the car. So he ended up selling it to some other guy. That guy sold it to another soldier. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I'll gamble 50 bucks at it, try and do ownership in doubt. As soon as I had done that, they finally came while I was on vacation, marked and towed the car off of JBLM. Well, the car got impounded, and 6 months prior to this, or 8 months, something like that, prior to this event, we had looked at the registration of the last registered owner and just done a Facebook search. And I figured if you're driving a 91 Mazda Protege, not that I'm trying to be stereotypical, but in Washington, you're probably a white guy in your, I don't know, teens, maybe late 20s, somewhere within that category. Found the guy with the same name. It met that kind of description, so I emailed the guy. I said, hey, did you at some point own this car? If you did, please let me know. We now have possession of it, but we can't register it because we don't have the title. And nothing, didn't hear back from him, period. Until the car got towed, and then it subsequently got pounded, and the tow company sent that bill to the last registered owner, which was obviously this guy. So he gets this bill in the mail. Now all of a sudden he wants to respond to that email I had sent previously. So he hits me back with Facebook. He's super pissed because he had sold this car a year and some change ago for 300 bucks or something like that. And now he's getting this bill. We explained to him that, hey, look, in Washington State, like most states, you can't just, if you have physical possession of a car, that doesn't mean you own it. You need the title. The previous owner has to release their interest in the car so that you can title it. So I cut him a deal. I said, hey, drive down with me to the DMV. We'll swap titles, or they'll look you up. You know that you own that car. We'll do the title change right there. I'll become the legal owner, and then I'll go take the car to impound. Didn't respond to me on that. Didn't want to do anything with it. I don't hear back from him again for another 30 days when he gets the impound bill for the last 30 days, which is something like $3,000. Now he's super pissed. He's swearing up and down, profanity out the woodwork because it's screwing his credit over, which he'd expect it to. He was trying to buy a house. His girlfriend was pregnant, so this was a bad situation for him. Hit him back up and said, look, I tried to handle this with you previously. Can't handle it with you really now. You got to bite this one. And he was irate that no one had registered the car. Again, we explained you can't just register the car. You need the title to do that. So I haven't heard from the guy in years, but they garnished his wages and they got all their money. So what I want you to take away from this is every time that you sell a car, now for sure in Washington State, which is where I'm from, so I'm familiar with them more than any other state, you get two basic choices when you sell the car. You can either go online and say, hey, this is who I am, and I sold the car to this person. And they'll file it in the state records and all that good jazz, and it's there forever. Or so they think. The guy swore up and down he did it online. I never do it online. I go down in person, pay $5, and they do the transfer right there. That doesn't mean that it's registered to that guy. It just means that I've said I've registered or I've sold it to that person. So if the car gets towed at that point, it's not on me anymore because I've said, hey, I sold it to this individual. Um, and that assumes they never register the car, even if you've given them the title. With that documentation, even if the county loses track of it, I can still prove, hey, I legally sold this car. That's my personal thing. When I get those transfers, I use Cam Scanner, one of my favorite apps, scan that into my converted PDF, and I send that to my email. Um, so every time you sell a car or motorcycle or boat, whatever it is, if it has a title, do that. Secondly, if you ever find yourself being in the position of that guy, this is what I would have done if I was him. The moment that I got the tow bill, I would have dropped everything, run down to wherever that facility was, and got my car back. Because it's every day the impound fee is going to get more and more and more and more. Right? This is only going to get worse. It's a lot easier to fight over a couple $100 than a few $1,000. So I would have gone and got my car back. And at that point, I mean, you have no legal obligation then to try and give the car back to whoever let it get towed. They never registered it. They didn't really want it. It's still legally your property. You just kind of lent it out for an extended period of time. You could sell the car again, which is what I would do. Maybe see if I can get a little better deal on it this time. You know, at least break even. So there was numerous ways we tried to resolve this, but at the end of the day, he wouldn't take any of the easy ways out, so he had to learn the hard way. So hopefully you can learn from that, and hopefully never get screwed like that guy did. So I hope it was helpful.